Evening, everyone, and welcome to another Traffic Talk special match review podcast. Myself, Ahmed, Kai, and Mehdi are back again. On let's say, thankfully, a positive note. Manchester United have advanced to the fifth round of the FA Cup, but they didn't make it all that easy on themselves, beating Liverpool by 3-2. It's now kind of like the sort of it's brought that mood out of me, which I am regretting saying here on this very show a few weeks ago when I said, well, we drew and I'll take that result on the context of a season. Because today United in attack were very, very good. In defence, they were in some cases a bit sloppy. I know we'll touch on that. But the general mood is finally Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has beaten Liverpool as manager. And it's a big, I feel like it's a big landmark for him. It's not a huge milestone. Great goals from Greenwood and Rashford helped us along the way. Fernandes scoring a winner. Compliment to Mo Salah, though. 2 goals from him. Made it an interesting game. But as always, I am with Kai and Mehdi. Starting with you, Kai. Talk to me, bro. Brilliant win.
Brilliant win.
How do you feel?
Very happy. Very happy to win that game. It wasn't easy. Liverpool didn't make it easy for us. We gave away some sloppy goals, in my opinions. Both goals were very sloppy, but the main thing is that we're through to the next round and the confidence to keep winning. So we just got to keep taking every game as it comes and try and win every game and see where we end up because we're on form right now.
Yeah, Mehdi, how about you, mate?
Yeah, obviously we went to the next round, West Ham. I'm buzzing we beat Liverpool. I'm happy for Solskjaer, finally beat Liverpool. And obviously I have a lot of Liverpool fans in my mentions and a lot of Liverpool friends, so it'll be fun to take the mick out of them. And I think we saw a very good team performance from. I don't think there was one bad player on the pitch. I think everyone played well, and that's what we need.
Yeah, I agree. To be honest, as I've stressed, my personal point of view is that now we've won this game, it debunks my original thought from last week in the league when we drew 0-0 at Anfield. We should have won that game in the state that we were the better team in the second half, and Liverpool, who showed frailties, did not look good in that game. Today, it was more or less a case of if your defense isn't as strong as mine, we're gonna make sure to exploit it. And I said on the preview show, if you guys watched it, and whoever did watch the show previously, I did say Reece Williams would be a little bit suspect because he doesn't get much game time. And instead of playing him in the league game, he played Henderson and Fabinho. Today, it was Williams and Fabinho. And it shows, obviously, Reece Williams is a very good young talent, and I'm sure he'll kick on in the future. But it did show that United were out to get at him, and they got to get at him. He did. So we'll touch on that. How important was it today to give Liverpool a hard time with their exposed space in the defence, where their fullbacks got the field, that's all they do, and United's wingers get in behind them, exploit that space, give options aplenty to Donny, Cavani, Marcus, and Greenwood, and Martin Mason, to be able to allow us to score the many goals that we did today. How important was it to exploit that in the game?
It was very important because obviously once Liverpool's fullbacks push on, they leave so much space in behind. In especially like the first half, Rashford and Shaw were killing Trent on that side. Every time he was going forward and we got the ball in a counter attack, we'll just exploit that space, and we had many chances. Most of our chances in the first half came from that side because of obviously the good play on that wing. So yeah, it was very important to expose, and obviously Liverpool not having 2 actual centre backs playing as well, we exploited that. Because if Van Dijk and Gomez were playing, it could have been a different game. So we definitely exploited the fact that they didn't have their regular first choice defence, and we done well with that.
Yeah, Mandy, how about you? Was it brought up that? Is there anything else you thought we exploited today?
I think pretty much what Kai just said. I think what Klopp does, he always lets his fullbacks attack. He doesn't really, even if they're losing, he always wants them to attack. I'm sorry, I meant even if they're winning. So that obviously leaves a lot of space in behind. And most of the time on a counter attack, we had a 3-on-2. It would be Marcus, Cavani, and Greenwood against Fabinho and Reece Williams. It was just about us playing it right, and we always got them on a counter attack. That's our strength.
Yeah, I agree. And the counter-attack was potent today. Speak to me about your thoughts on the 2 goals we scored after Salah opened the scoring with a lovely chip over Henderson's head, which was a bit of poor defending, I have to be honest. We didn't really cover ourselves in glory there. But we responded, and that's something we do a lot this season. When we do go behind, we're always thinking of the next opportunity we get. Sheffield United, that happened. It happened at Southampton. It's always those sorts of moments where we go behind, and then the first instant thing we do is, okay, we don't have to play with fear anymore. We just have to go out there with like we have nothing to lose. And straight away, into their box we get. Brilliant ball from Marcus, and Greenwood finishes it with a prob. It's important for Mason's confidence to score today as well, because poor guy hasn't scored enough this season, and he's really shot of his top form as we know him to be. How important was it to find the score sheet today and help also in the build up to the second goal?
In the last game, I saw the old Mason coming back, and today, obviously, he needed a goal. They said he hadn't scored in 10, so it was very important for him to get a goal today. And he looked very confident in this match, especially first half. He had a few chances one chance he put wide, another one to keep a save. So I think today, him getting a goal, hopefully he can push on for the rest of the season. And then with him on form as well, even more goals. So it was very important for him to. I had a feeling he was going to score today as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ready?
Pretty much what you just said is good for his confidence, and we've seen it early on in the season. Like Rashford and Greenwood, they've been making good runs, and they wouldn't be passing to each other. Maybe I don't think it's maybe they've had beef, or I just think they don't trust each other. But we saw today Rashford assisted Greenwood, Greenwood assisted Rashford, and both goals were well taken, and that's good for their confidence. And obviously we're on a big run, unbeaten in I don't know how many games, but we're on a very good run, so we just need to continue that.
I'll help you out a little bit, Betty, with that one. The last domestic defeat was to Arsenal. So it was in November the 1st, ironically. So that was plenty. It's definitely more than 10 games in domestic football now. No, actually, the last domestic defeat was to Man City. So we've now got 6 unbeaten domestically, with 5 unbeaten domestically. So we've not done too bad. I think we are getting into good form at the right time. Obviously, the Premier League is the Premier League. We've isolated that as as everyone seems to agree, the main priority with the way the season's going right now, as everything and everything for our season. Dosan, I'll say Dosan because I can't get a whole name. It says more disappointed about conceding 2 lame goals, which we could have defended. Yeah. Let's talk about that briefly before we get on to the winning moment. Scoring goals was great. Conceding the goals today were elements of suspiciousness that we will need to sort out if we're going to be able to stay in that area of the table or in competitions like the FA Cup. Because this afternoon we conceded early when Salah cut inside of Lucho, who has played very, very well in the last couple of games, and he deserves all the credit for it. But he was caught out for the first goal. And the second goal was more or less us ball watching, getting sucked into the man on the wing, drilling that ball in, and then falling for Milner's fate for Salah to tap in the second. So the defenders, despite overall having not too bad of a match, they had an okay game. They did concede a couple. Where do United need to improve on the pitch? We don't need to worry about off the pitch so much right now. But on the pitch, what do United need to improve on? Because we talked about communication for the Fulham goal the other day, and they seem to have improved on that today, but still something was missing.
I think for the first goal was bad communication between Lindelof and Shaw. That ball should never have been able to go through both of them. There should have been some kind of communication. And one of them should be able to cut it out. So that was way too easy for Salah to score that goal. And then the second goal, I think Cavani was the one that gave it away. I think he gave it when that was a bad pass. He passed it straight back to Liverpool. And then we didn't defend after that. We just let Liverpool come through, and then Milner done the fake shot, and then Salah pull it away. So I think
man, do you think we should really stop trying to play from the back? Because I'm one of those that hates constantly seeing us when we have a goal kick in our box, passing it to either centre-back on either side of the goalkeeper. I'm more someone who just wants it to go up the field as far away as possible. Whatever comes back is what happens, really. It depends. You just have to hope that the person on the other end of the clearance gets on the ball. there are advantages to it, but are you one of those that thinks we should get rid of that from our game?
No, I think we have the quality to play out from the back. I think it's just the decision making at times. Like you see, Cavani, he had a lot of time. He didn't have to play that first time. He could have held up the ball and then waited to play to either McTominay or Pogba. I think,
agree with that.
yeah, we have the quality to play out from the back. It's just how we imply it and how it's coached. So it's down to the coaches and down to the players' IQ, their decision making in the end.
Yeah, I do. I think so too. I'm a cynic for it because previously United have been caught out by teams like Southampton in the past, like Liverpool, because of their intense high pressing. Sometimes, and I feared when we played Leicester, they would do the same thing, and at times they did. We tend to get caught out by players not looking over their shoulder. For example, the Pogba incident in the summer against Southampton that led to them opening the scoring. That still plays on my mind a little bit. And I know, obviously, Pogba's improved a lot since then. But it's not just him. Most players like Cavani, who lost the ball today when we played out from the back, can lead to moments like Salah's equaliser. And it does sometimes make us a little weaker in that sense. It's good to see us at times being confident and playing out from the back. I don't personally enjoy it, but it's better that we try and relieve the pressure of the goalkeeper when in the box and just get that ball up the field if we have a target man. We don't, sadly, but alas, what can you do? So, to the winner, the first question I must ask both of you, foul or no foul?
I think it was a foul. I think it was very clever by Cavani to win the free kick, but I think it was a foul. I think Fabinho has not got the ball. I think it is a foul. I know that some of the Ian Wright didn't think it was a free kick, but I did personally.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't care. I actually don't care. The referee gave it.
That's true,
I
actually.
It's one of them decisions. It can go either way. Like it depends on the referee on the day. That's either going to be given or it won't be given. But I just don't care. We've had a lot of decisions go against us recently, like some penalties that we should have. We get this free kick. Bruno scores fantastically, taken by him.
Yeah.
So and then I don't really care.
Yeah, I agree. It is a contentious decision, but I personally think we deserved to. I personally believe we were the better team. In the second half, we should have scored more than 3. We should have been able to really give Liverpool a much harder time. In regards to the free kick, it's a foul, but in fact, the referee had a few howlers today, if I'm honest.
He did, yeah.
And I'm not one to complain about officials. I don't like them, especially since VAR has been introduced in this country. It's not been implemented correctly for me, and it should be improved on. My views for that is for something I can call upon for another day. But right now, this very match, there are 2 moments for me that changed the game. Number 1 was Mane's tackle on Fred, which was a little reckless, and it wasn't so much that it was the follow through. It's the nature of the fact he's gone full studs up and gotten into Fred's leg.
That could have been a red.
It could have been a red. Now remember the game when Spurs met Brentford. It was Spurs versus Brentford in the League Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
The VAR that day had seen Josh Da Silva make the same sort of challenge on Emil Højbjerg, or Højbjerg, as anyone who pronounces it. I pronounce it his way. But Emil Højbjerg got scratched on his leg, properly cut. And the VAR that evening reviewed it while the game was in progress, while deciding to tell the referee, no, he's got to go. And this is what I thought that's tonight. How is the referee on this occasion, the VAR, gone on a coffee break when that should be reviewed?
True.
Guys?
Yeah, I think that was a red card, personally. Yeah, I was surprised he only got a yellow because it was very reckless. It was a reckless tackle. So it could have changed the game for real.
Yeah. I think it happened against Burnley as well. Luke Shaw's challenge. Where they took 5 minutes. And everyone on social media was saying that's a red card. So
red card.
I want to see the same treatment for Mane. Like, he's got no control of that tackle. He's high. And again, people are talking about the follow through. You have to stay consistent. If you're going to say Luke Shaw's one is a red card and De Silva's one's a red card, then this has to be a red card as well.
In fact, I'll give.
It was even a VAR check.
Yeah, no, it wasn't any at all. In fact, I'll give a better example. yesterday I commentated on a non-league match in London when Sutton met Eastleigh, and a similar sort of challenge was made by a midfielder to one of the attackers. The attacker was fine, thankfully, but it was a reckless challenge. It got the referee thinking for a good minute. He went to talk to his official on the near side, talked to him and said told him it was a high challenge and sent him off. Now, if VAR was in the National League, which is where I commentate this game from, if it was in the National League, I don't think the player would have been sent off. There would have been a yellow card. He would have been warned for that sort of challenge. It's borderline red, but we are going to book you. But instead, the referee was brave and decided to send him off, only going on instinct of the nature of the challenge. So you take the Burnley one into account. That tackle there, in more ways than one, is, I would say, worse than the one Luke Shaw dealt to the Burnley attacker. Because he not only did he get the ball, but he did follow through. But no way was it as severe as what Mane did today. And I'm like you, very surprised there was no VAR check for that challenge. So it shocked me that it didn't happen. Do you feel we are still unable to operate the system correctly in the Premier League or in the cup competitions here in this country?
No, VAR needs to be. A lot of people say it needs to be scrapped because I personally think, but they need to do more work on it because it's not perfect. And obviously, a lot of decisions affect games in big ways sometimes, so it needs to definitely be worked on.
I think it's not actually VAR; it's the people that are behind it and people making the decision. If you look in Europe, Spain, the Spanish league, French league, any other league here that has VAR in it, you see the rules are implemented good, and there's barely any controversial decisions. But you see it in the Premier League week in, week out, we're having a lot of controversial decisions. So I think it's the people who are making the decisions.
I'm just going to see I can't remember who the VAR was today. I know Craig Porter was the referee, but I think it was Andre Marino was the referee who did that match today in the VAR room. And I'm still bewildered as to how there was no help from him to tell the referee that Mane's committed a high tackle, possible red card. We would like you to look at it. This is why, like Mehdi, you say, in Europe, they are using it much more effectively than we are doing in the United Kingdom. Right now, we're not able to use the system correctly. Or, as fans, obviously, we would like to be able to hear what the referee is saying or what the referees are telling each other from Stockley Park to any ground in the country as to what the reason is for that decision. Or, because I'm a big NFL fan, I'd love to know when the penalty is being given or if they're reviewing a choice of red card, penalty, or free kick on the edge of the box. I'd love to hear that sort of thing. But we're clearly deprived of that element of the game because it's sort of like, MI5 stuff that's going on when referees are communicating to one another. So ultimately, you're right. The people should improve it. I don't know. We'll have to wait till the Europa League comes back to see what difference there will be because there will be VAR at that stage of the competition. So we're hoping that there will be good functioning there. But we will go back onto the fact that the team he picked today was a solid team. But I feel sorry for Donny today. I really do. The poor guy tried his best. He tried his best to get in the game. He worked very hard in the first half. He just, however, and I want him to start more games, and I feel he will get that chance in the next round. Yeah. But today he struggled to really hit the mark for United. Yeah. What are we? We're not expecting too much from you in the first 6 months of your time at Old Trafford because you haven't played enough. We respect that. Yeah. But do we hope that he can improve his form over time between now and the end of the season?
Of course. Donny. He like you said, he tried his best, but the thing with Donny, he don't play the balls like Bruno does. He does everything safe. Bruno will play the hard ball all the time, even if he gives it away. Bruno, I think Donny's scared to do that kind of thing. He just plays the simple little passes. And I think that's why, obviously, he's not seen a lot of game time because Bruno will play the impossible pass, even if sometimes it don't come off. He'll still try it again. And I think that's the big difference between them two. So I don't think Donny will play I might not see him for a little while. Maybe until the next West Ham game, probably won't see him again.
Old Trafford United this week because we are playing against them in the bottom of the league.
Possibly, but Yeah, I do feel sorry for him. He did have a hand in both goals. Like I think he started the move. I know definitely for the second goal. He got a little touch. I think when Pogba got tackled, I know the first goal, sorry. I know you got a little touch. So he had a little impact, but obviously when you're up against Bruno and Bruno scoring free kicks like that, you ain't got much chance of playing much.
I think first half he actually played all right. I don't think he done too much attacking wise, but I think he was finding them pockets and just moving the ball. Like as you said, he does play the ball safe, and that's the difference between him and Bruno. If Van der Beek can take more risks, maybe we'll see him in the starting 11 more often. But I think it comes down to a lack of match sharpness, because obviously he hasn't played in a long time, and I think some of the decisions he made was maybe he wanted to play safe so Solskjaer would be impressed by him.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Donny. He really is a talented player, and I've watched him so much in his time at Ajax. Especially, I was present at the semi-final between them and Tottenham, not in Amsterdam but in London when he scored. And that night he played with, what I think at the time one of the best and the most exciting teams in Europe, with the likes of Frankie de Jong, Ziyech, Neres, and Co in the team. He was part of a very focal part of that little young quartet that were running around and causing major clubs worry. Juventus, Real Madrid and Tottenham all at points felt that, even though Spurs went on to win the game, Ajax put on some amazing performances. For me, he's got plenty of time. I think he's got more. He's got plenty of time. He offers something different to Bruno Fernandes. That's a given. But he is much more of a Ramdeuter, we like to call the space interpreter in Germany, who Thomas Müller is that kind of player. But with Donny, it's hard to use that skill without Juan Mata in the team. The reason why I think when Mata plays with Donny, they work better together is because Mata offers the ability to hold up the ball and juke past one or two and play the cute passes with Donny. Whereas Bruno is someone who will take the much larger risk of playing the wider or more tricky balls into forwards instead of going short all the time and doing a nice little back heel from between one another. Examples of this was when we played Brighton in the League Cup earlier this season. When Mata and Donny played, both of them worked very well with each other, and it led to a good performance from both sets of players that night. So I think if Mata and Donny play in the Europa League, in a game against the Sociedad team, I've really fallen off in La Liga recently. I don't like saying our chances of winning the Europa League have gone up tenfold because Sociedad are bad. It's not underestimating them at all. There is a good chance you see them play together because Mata understands Spanish opposition and Donny can use that ability of getting into space. That could work against a team that like to sit deep, like Sociedad and Koba. I'm thinking a bit too far ahead, but we might see Donny again this week. Who knows? The overall performance, obviously, in parts, great. Did lack a bit. We move on to, I think, the most important factor of today's win is that it keeps United's momentum going, and we can now say that we are not first by fluke. We are there because of good form and momentum, and the fact that our players are not thinking about themselves and they are playing in a team rather than one thinking about their wage and how much money he's going to spend on God knows what. Instead of that, thinking about the best money I can receive right now is 3 points to help us move up or move away from our opposition for me, it's the Champions League race. For everyone else, it's the race for the league. How important is this result against Liverpool? Because they are the champions for a start. It does show we can take them on. And May the 1st is now a very important match if this form continues. How important was this result in terms of United's momentum? And can they continue that into the next few games we have ahead of us?
Oh, it was great. It was important to win today. Obviously, Liverpool, like you said, are the champions. Now everyone wants to beat the champions. We've beaten them. Hopefully they lose some momentum, and who knows, if they go into the next match, they may lose again. So I think you just got to win every game. I think it's possible that we can continue this form. We got Sheffield United. I think we got Arsenal and Southampton next.
Yeah, as you can see at the bottom of our screen, Sheffield United, Arsenal, Southampton are our next three. We should. I mean, we said this about Fulham last week, but they didn't make it half easy for us. We should win that game. We did, but just Sheffield United, I think, will be going for broke against us because they're desperate to recover their season. Yes, they need points badly. So any opportunity match they get into is a match they need to win. But they've also advanced in the FA Cup, which is not. I don't think it's going to help them a lot in their case of chasing of survival. So there's that. We have Arsenal, who
getting back some form, sort of.
Yeah, I struggle with Arsenal, but we'll cover that wider later in the week. But with Arsenal, it's a hard nut to crack with them. They can turn up, and they've done that in the last 4 games, and then suddenly completely tail off later on when they lost yesterday to Southampton, for example, and didn't play anywhere near as good as they should do. Obviously, they missed Aubameyang and co. And then Southampton, who I think will give us the hardest game out of the 3.
100%. They did last time.
Yes, they did, and almost got the better of us. Thank goodness for Edison Cavani. So personally,
we win all them 3 games, then
we would. I would expect if we're not going to beat Arsenal, at least 7 points. That's the best I hope for. Because at home now we're finding our feet again. We're combining our away form with good home form now. But looking at Sheffield United, crucial game again. We're probably going to rotate once more. And hopefully we'll see Donny start for another match. How important is it that some key players get a rest, and those that can play, we should see hopefully Eric play. We should hopefully see Matic play because Matic and Pogba were the first time around. We should hopefully see Matic in that game. De Gea should be back. That's a given. Alex Tellers as well. Give Luke Shaw a rest. I think Tellers needs an opportunity to.
I thought he would have started today, to be fair.
Yeah,
I thought so too, but I think there was a case for Luke Shaw to play today because of how well he played against Salah
last time. Yeah, true.
So this week, fair shout. So, talk to me, boys. Sheffield United, what do you think?
I think hopefully we can beat them. Yeah, I think Tellers hopefully will get a start. I think obviously De Gea will come back in. I think Eric will play as well. Matic will play too. I think Martial will start up front. I reckon. I think Cavani will be rested for this one because he started the last 2. So I reckon he's going to have a little break. Rashford got injured today, so I don't know how serious that is. So
hopefully nothing.
Hopefully he can start. And I wouldn't play McTominay and Fred though. Hope you don't go with them 2 again. not for this game.
Risky.
Yeah.
I think pretty much everything you said. I think Rashford. I think he's got an injury on his knee. Solskjaer said that he's going to have a scan tomorrow, so hopefully he's fine. If he's fine, I think it's got to be Rashford, Martial, and Greenwood. I think I would rest Cavani for the Arsenal game. Because Cavani, with his experience and his quality against that Arsenal back 4,
he destroyed it.
Problem. I think Sheffield United, it should be an easy 3 points for us.
He has scored against Arsenal numerous times as Cavani. So that brings up a point. Mehdi, I also wanted to ask you regarding today's performance. I mean, there have been points this season where I've thought, without if Rashford was to be injured, and we didn't have we have Martial there as the backup if needs must. But if we did have a problem there, and have we now brought in Ahmed Diallo because we are apparently going back in for Sancho in the summer again, which is I still think stay the hell away for the price reasons. But if needs must, needs must. But do we accelerate his debut now? If Rashford's injury, which we're hoping isn't as bad as it looks, because he did take quite enough hefty bump earlier on. If it isn't if it is a serious injury, do we accelerate his debut any more than he's originally planned?
No, I don't. No, I don't think so. You know, I'll maybe on the bench, but I wouldn't start him just yet. Or maybe bring him on in a match. If you are gonna put him in a squad, bring him on. Maybe if we're winning 2 or 3-0, give him 20 minutes at the end. But I wouldn't start him right now. Obviously, I'll put Martial on the left, Varney up front, and Greenwood on the right. If Rashford is injured, I think that would be the best way to go. Don't want to put too much pressure on him just yet. 20 minutes, 25 minutes at the end of the game. That's fine if we're already 2 or 3-0 up. But I wouldn't start him just yet.
I see.
I think Arsenal Southampton. He around them 2 games, he'd probably be on the bench. I think Sheffield United is probably going to be too early for him, but it's up to Solskjaer. And then Solskjaer and the coaches have said that they've been impressed with him, so you never know.
True.
But I do think that Ahmad Diallo, I think regardless of him, I think we still need a right winger. And Sancho, the price tag, I think it's crazy. If they want 100 mil, I don't think we should go for him. I think there's an Ajax player, right winger, Anthony. I've been watching him a lot, and he is class. He's 20 years of age. He's a natural right winger as well. I think he's very good. He could be an alternative for Sancho.
Yeah, I agree. I spent time in Denmark when they played Midtjylland in the Champions League, and he was exceptional that evening. He really was. And he proved you have a fair point there, Mehdi, because he came into Holland really relatively unknown. Not many people know about him, but he was highly rated in South America, in Brazil, particularly with Santos. And he proved to most pundits in Holland he could be one of the next big things from Ajax that moves on to, bigger things later. As Neres is showing, he's still there now. He's got bags of potential, and he's learning off of someone like David Neres of how to handle yourself at a club like Ajax, and how to develop your talent so that you can stand out from the rest. And I think it's a good club for him and a good potential. That evening, he really gave the fullback for Midtjylland a hard time.
Yeah.
So he's he's going to be a good alternative. Kai, what do you think we should still go all in for Sancho, or do you
just depends on the price? If Dortmund are willing to lower it to maybe less than 100, I reckon we'll go for him. But I reckon if it's still like 120, I don't think we're going to go for him, especially as his form hasn't been as good as it was last season. So I don't know if we'll take the risk and pay over the odds. But if they're willing to lower it, I reckon we'll definitely go in for him. I think he's our first choice anyway.
I think I saw Fabrizio Romano tweet that Dortmund are willing to accept less than 120 million euros in the summer that's coming up. So it's going to be interesting. But we all know the recruitment at Man United is it's not that good. We just go for the stars. We don't really looking for talents. Recently, we have been with Pelestri and
Been better.
Yeah. I think if we had a director of football, we'd be prepared.
That's needed.
It would be the biggest signing we'd have made in 10 years if we actually made one of those actual structural signings, because I think we know better than most as fans that there is such a disconnect between manager and owners sometimes, or chief executive, for example, and they never really. Well, as most people say, United tend to leak information like a sieve. Things go in and go through it and come out quite easily. They'll try their best to plug it up, but it still gets out. So, for what it's worth, I said it in the summer. I don't see a reason to go for Sancho unless, like you say, Dortmund reduce their offer dramatically. And I think Sancho isn't worth anything more than £80 million. Simply because of the current climate financially, but also it makes sense for United to not go for the deal if Dortmund are asking for that much. In the knowledge that we may also later on, if the interest remains for Erling Haaland, we may go back for him, and they may still try and make us balk us an offer that they think is reasonable. And it doesn't make sense for me. It's why I always thought of the defense first before I thought about the attack, because the Sevilla game really rattled me. And I said then openly to a radio show, we should focus on the defense first before we think about the attack. The defense has improved, but that's just
still needs a bit more.
It still has holes in it. It has a hole in it, which
100%.
I think patch that hole, you have the start of a spine of a team now. You have the start of a spine. Just get the DM and the attack sorted. So United, for me, have 3 good spots to work on in the summer. So it's why I say don't constantly think of the one superstar player or the one young talent that will, 10 years down the line be super great all the time. If you need to plug a gap now, plug it, or else you risk dropping momentum. So I don't know. Do you guys think if we don't make signings in even, I'd say, at a time like this where we're top of the table, we're looking good, we're still in the driving hot seat to be able to continue this domestic momentum into February and March, when there is a likelihood there's a likelihood that things will get very rocky for squads in every league, not only ours. If not, I just thought we made a signing by now. Are you surprised that we didn't bring anyone in just in case something happened to a first team or not?
I thought we might have brought in a right back. I thought that might have been the place to give some competition to Wan-Bissaka. I didn't see us getting a centre back in this transfer window. I always thought summertime was when we'd be looking for a centre back, but I thought possibly a right back. Other than that, I couldn't see us really signing anyone else, to be honest.
Yep.
I think one of my friends actually told me that we were linked with Ericsson on a 6-month loan deal. I think a loan deal to the rest of the season. At first, I was like, I don't want him. He'll ruin the wage structure. I don't think he's what we need at a club. But I started thinking about it, and I think him as a squad player and maybe come off the bench last 15, 20 minutes, it could be well for us and it could work. Instead of maybe
just the wages though, just how much he wants. I think Leicester wanted him as well.
Yeah, it's a massive amount of money that he was on.
Grand or something like that. I think he wanted.
Yeah, it was. He was on huge money at Tottenham, and he asked for the same amount when signing a new deal 2 years ago, and it sort of forced. I think we all watched the Amazon documentary. It sort of forced Levy's hand into selling him because he didn't want to offer him such a ludicrous amount of money for the. With all due respect to Christian Eriksen, at the time he was definitely one of the best players in the Premier League and was scoring brilliant goals and playing excellent for football for Tottenham and helping them to the Champions League final and their top 4 spot at the time. What annoys me is that such a player who decided to move to Inter Milan fully knowing that there are equally competitive players in that team and they would have wanted to, work as hard to keep him out. And it's clear to see now he's not getting enough game time. He's regretting that decision. So suddenly the idea of him going on loan pops up. I think he would be a good squad player for United, but if United were serious about getting him, they'd have got him when he was wanting to leave Spurs instead of waiting to get him from. Instead of waiting now, if they're stupid enough, they would have waited till now to go and get him. But
we got Bruno there, didn't we? We got Bruno instead.
We got Bruno in. So if that had happened, Fernandes would never have come. He would have been at Tottenham right now.
Who knows what would happen? Ericsson might not have made that impact.
Exactly. We would have not been where we are now if Fernandes hadn't arrived. So we're grateful in a way that he didn't. But I think he's a top player when he's in form, but when he's out of form, he's one of the most frustrating characters to have in the dressing room. And Inter Milan are feeling it right now, so they can only have themselves to blame. So moving on. So we've talked about what we think is plugging holes, overall performance. Greenwood's back on form. Now we must think about Sheffield United. We talked about it a little bit, but let's expand on it a little bit more. They play a very difficult game to Sheffield United. They made it hard for us last season and almost beat us. Thank goodness we haven't lost yet because there was the occasion at Bramall Lane this season when we could have been beaten by them again.
True.
We should see Henderson start again, I believe, because he needs to give him a chance to understand how it works with back-to-back games. We spoke about who would fill in, but how important is it we also keep Bruno rested for Wednesday? Because he's come off today, the bench again. And I said we need him, and we needed him.
Yeah.
It's likely we'll call on him again if we're in trouble against Sheffield United, because I'd rather him be fit for Arsenal than be fit for nothing. So
I think he's going to start, though. I have a feeling Solskjaer's still going to start him on Wednesday. I know he probably should be rested, but I reckon he's going to start this one. Because he sat out today. He ain't going to want to sit out 2 games in a row, so I reckon he'll start Wednesday. And hopefully we can finish the game off early, and then we can hopefully take him off and then give him some rest time for Arsenal. But I reckon he'll start.
How important is it to win against them?
Oh, very important to win. Very important. We've got to keep the momentum. We're top right now. So if we win, that's another 3 points. Obviously, I think City played before us, so we could find ourselves second. So. Yeah, they play West Brom on Tuesday, I believe. So they might be going to the game second. So
yes,
it's going to be a must-win game if you want to obviously keep up. So very important.
Yeah, we are under a bit of pressure because As you say, City will play the night before against.
They got game in hand. They got game in hand on us as well.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. So even when we do play against Sheffield United, they will still have that extra game. So it's key to keep that momentum going, meaning we cannot afford to lose on Wednesday and then move on to Saturday. Mehdi, so we have talked about Sheffield United. I won't do the preview for Arsenal because that's a job for someone else. So let's talk about Arsenal then. This is the game I think we have vested interest in. We need our revenge. We need a win against them because of what happened to us in November, which I feel to this very minute was not fair. As we were poor that day, we didn't deserve to lose. It was 0-0 all day long. They're not going to have their best team out. I think Arteta's under increasing pressure again to get a result against the likes of they're playing on Tuesday against Southampton again, and the same at St Mary's for a second time, and then they'll meet us in the league. It's key for them to win as much as both of us to keep momentum going. How important is it for us to stop Arsenal getting back to winning ways?
I think it's very important. I think in the last 2-3 years, Arsenal have become our bogey team, and we don't really seem to turn up against them. Apart from the 3-1 win in the FA Cup under Solskjaer, we haven't really. I don't think we've beaten them. Apart from that, I think we got a couple draws, maybe 1 or 2 draws, but apart from that, we haven't won and performed well. I think they're gonna probably play Partey and Xhaka in the midfield. So if we can't play McTominay and Fred, otherwise we're just gonna lose the midfield battle, and from there it'll just fall apart. So Pogba has to be. He can't be playing on the left. It's too important. We have to be playing him in the midfield with probably a Fred or McTominay or Matic, and then we need all our attacking players to be firing for us to have a chance of winning. Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, Cavani, whoever's playing on that day has to be on their game.
They were on their game today, so I'm hoping if they have that mentality going into the Emirates, that'll be ideal. Kai, how about you? I'm sure we'll have the same thoughts as Mandy. Got to win. Got to get our revenge.
Man, and Arsenal have been rivals for so long. Losing to them earlier this season hurt because Arsenal we shouldn't be losing to Arsenal. They're not a good team really. So when we lost that game, it made me feel sick. So we need to get the 3 points this time. Very important to win. And obviously like you said, Partey he played very well against us in that first game. So we need to definitely have Pogba in there to kind of stop him, because if McFred play, they're going to get overrun. So Pogba definitely in the middle. And like Mehdi said, we need to have all our forwards firing, try and get a good victory.
Can I just say real quick? I think when we played Fred against Partey, I think Fred, of course, he covers the ground a lot, but I think he just lost he's not that physical type of player. So I think, I think we need to play McTominay. McTominay played well today, and him and Pogba work well together. So either Matic or McTominay, one of them has to play. I don't think Fred's suited for that game.
I agree. It certainly draws my attention every time Fred plays. He does do a great job covering ground and winning the ball back on the edge of our penalty box. It is annoying, though, that when it comes to playing against physical opposition, he does sort of get a little exposed there. Yeah,
bounces off.
Like the other day, what's his name for Fulham? The Chelsea Loftus-Cheek.
Yes.
Yeah, and they moved in that whole game literally.
So it annoys me sometimes. He's like a pinball going from one end to the other, bouncing off every physical player. It's a weird one with him, but I think I like him for that because I like him for the physical disadvantage. I like him for his tenacity and for something which I've been crying out for when we've been struggling in games. No one goes out to try and chase the ball. And every time we do, we leave space in behind in the old days. And nowadays we have Fred doing that job, which is pretty good to see. I hope he's able to do that more. But also, like you guys say, it's very important that we don't lose the midfield battle. I think that's where we lost the game last time when Pogba gave away the penalty. We were being overrun in midfield by Arteta, and I think he'll try and do the same thing again. I don't know if I don't think Aubameyang is going to be able to be at that game on the grounds that he's got personal reasons, which is why he wasn't at Southampton yesterday. So if you miss a couple of days, it does sort of ruin your overall momentum. But yeah, we hopefully he won't be at that game because he has just started to find the net a little bit more. So it would help if he didn't play. But it was also key Arsenal out of the FA Cup. So there's a new name on the trophy this season, and best hope that belongs to us as well. More hope for us. Before we sign off, I put as my man of the match Paul Pogba. You guys, who do you think got the your key? Who's your key man this afternoon?
I'm gonna say Rashford. I think Rashford was very good today, like, especially first half, and obviously he scored a goal early in the second half. He was just a problem for the fullback. They just couldn't stop him. Every time he got it, he just looked like he was going to create or he was going to get a shot off. So I think Rashford today. Pogba followed by Pogba, close second.
Yeah. Pogba, obviously, for me, all round once again, he's on brilliant form. Defensively, offensively, he's been brilliant. But I think special mention of Wan-Bissaka. I think Wan-Bissaka in the second half was very good. When he went on that run, he got past Robertson and then and sent Robertson back to Scotland. The cross wasn't that good, but that's what I like from Wan-Bissaka. He never stops.
You love to see that more often from him. You love to see more of that from him. It's sad sometimes we tend to criticize him because of the lack of attacking ability in his game. But today, I think we saw, as you mentioned, in the second half, he did look a lot more confident, and we hope that is what he'll keep doing and not be too afraid to come out of the right back position a lot. That obviously for now, until we do get someone who's capable of just doing the one job of attacking and helping him out when we don't have possession. Until we sort that out, let him keep doing that until we find Sancho or whoever can play in the right wing position. But yeah, big credit to him. I wish I could give it to Greenwood and Rashford because they both played good games. They both scored and created each other's goals, which very often doesn't happen. It's like Cole and York all over again. But in a bit of a weird way. But yeah, I think I'm going to agree that Pogba again was key for United. He definitely made sure we were not overrun against the Liverpool team that were doing. I think we noticed they were doing the same thing over and over, trying to stop United getting out from the back. In the second half, we sort of, other than conceding the Salah goal, Pogba became an important outlet for that. And every time we needed to get the ball away from our final third, we always found him or Cavani. But yeah, Pogba did well winning the ball. His big credit for him for I think it was our second goal. Or was it on the equaliser? I think it was the equaliser. Yeah, that was for the first goal. He got the ball out of our area before pinging it across the over to Greenwood. That for me was a moment where I think this is not the Pogba I know that doesn't.
He got fouled. He got fouled as well. Yeah,
he got fouled. We played advantage. Thank good as well.
Yeah.
Today was played the advantage instead of give the free kick because we got out of our box thanks to Pogba's tenacity. So I think Pogba should get my man of the match today. I wish I could give it to 2, but I've got to give it to 1. And because he played well and he's done one of the last few games, Pogba today.
Yes.
But yeah, boys, thank you. I really appreciate you taking time out. Very happy that we could share the joy of United making it to the 5th round of the Emirates FA Cup. And so we get to meet West Ham in a couple of weeks' time. My goodness, February's going to be a busy month with the FA Cup, the Europa League, and the Premier League. I mean, I don't know why. Sacrificing one's going to be hard, but we'll see, eh? But thanks a lot to everyone who's watching. Please hit the like and subscribe from YouTube, if you're on Twitter. Follow us and retweet and like the video as well. But from me, Kai and Mehdi, it's been a pleasure bringing it to you, and we'll hopefully get to see you guys soon. Guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you soon, all right?
Take care. Bye.
Bye.